Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Casters.
And today is Sunday, July 1st, 2018. This is episode 310. I have numbers jumping around in my head. I almost said 2019. Anyway, how have you all been? Hopefully good. Hopefully staying cool if you're in the Northern Hemisphere because it is hot in the Midwest. And we're supposed to get a lot of rain this week, but yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't say record highs the last couple of days. I don't know, but it's been in like the mid to higher 90s the past couple of days. And boy, we were both smart and spent hours outside yesterday on the hottest day of the week. Yours was for work, mine was for pictures, but I'll be showing those here in a little bit in the podcast. So I'm going to do a little bit of editing today. Editing. La 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 la. I should have done vocal warm-ups. Anyway. Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Not sure if we're going to be able to come at you with the Watermelon Firework Bus Emporium quality of shenanigans this episode, but we'll try our best. If you're a returning viewer, by the way, thanks for coming back one more week. And if you're new, you have no idea what we're talking about, and you should go watch the previous episode, episode 309, and you might get a chuckle or two. But yeah, so we're going to go real quickly into the past 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks, and I realize with my schedule getting busier over the next couple weeks, I still will be able to keep to the 2 weeks, so that's good. I actually had this weekend off. It's the first time in a long time. So we've done very little dyeing or much for the business. I mean, we've done some stuff and more than I've wanted to, but it was like, you know what? Can we actually take a weekend? Can we just... So Andy's playing video games downstairs and he's making chocolate chip cookies, as one does on a Sunday. I can't complain.
I only complained because they weren't done as soon as I walked into the house.
Well.
Just saying.
So the past 2 weeks, last I spoke with you, we were back from Colorado and Iowa, and I was getting ready to head out to Minnesota to go to the zombie knit apocalypse. And so I've been to Minnesota and back, the third time in 3 months, and boy did I have a wonderful time. This is probably the best zombie knit apocalypse for me, because it only took 5 years, but I feel like I've really cultivated a good group of friends. And so I had kind of people that I could hang out with. And it's not just, when like Callie and I go, I always want to hang out with Callie because she's my go-to. I know I can hang out with her. But through 3, 4, 5 days of a retreat, you're like, okay, like we need to. So I had a good handful of people that I really could rotate my time through. And then of course, push myself. I did several times to push myself past my comfort level and go and talk to new people, and so many people came up and talked with me and showed me things they'd made out of my yarn or talked about the podcast. I told Callie, more than one of you came up and talked about how much you almost peed your pants listening to the Firework Bus Emporium, Watermelon Firework Bus Emporium story. So Wednesday, our friend Amber, the yarn hoarder, came up to my house, and Amber was going to drive me up to Minnesota, and then Andy was going to meet me on Friday. But unfortunately, Andy had to go back home for some family health medical issues with his dad. His dad, thank you, by the way, for all anybody who's reached out or said anything. His dad is going to be having heart surgery here in the near future. When exactly, we don't know. But he's going to be having to do some recuperating in the hospital and some rehab, and then he will be coming and living with us for anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, probably, and living downstairs, and then he will then go back home to be with Andy's brother. So there's going to be some life changes here, but don't worry, we'll still be recording. So needless to say, Andy couldn't come to the ZK. So Amber rode up with me because I had to drive the van with all the product, all the yarn. And we drove up, and it was a very uneventful drive. It was a beautiful day, and we got up to Rochester, and we checked in, and I took a few minutes to, like, collect my thoughts before having to people to a room full of people. Us introverts know what we're talking about. And then hung out and had a good time. We had Mexican for dinner the first of 2 times. Their tacos at Jefe Rojo are amazing. And then Thursday I got up and I had a class on Thursday morning. I took photography with Emily Straw. She's Emily Straw on Ravelry and Instagram. Or no, she's Butterfly M on Instagram maybe. Emily Straw Photography if you want to follow her photography. But she's a professional photographer and learned a lot of things that I'm doing well and a lot of things I could work on in my photography. And I, again, you'll see some of my practicing here in a little bit. And that was a great class, learned some stuff, had great food, knit. Opening ceremonies were Thursday night, which were a lot of fun. Friday was another day of knitting, and I played a game called Skeins to Skeins, which is like apples to apples, that Corey Eichelberger, I Rock Knits, has cultivated, and so that was a lot of fun. And both times questions came to myself because we were rotating through 2 sides of the room. Amber and I were up against each other, and I just want to throw some shade. I beat her both questions.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
I did not know where this was going.
Totally, you know, like swept her under the rug. The second question was, can you make yarn from crushed shells of sea life? And the answer is true.
Yes.
One of the first socks I knit were out of Tofootsies, which is made with, I think you pronounce it, is it chitin?
Yep.
And so, yeah, so I was like, I didn't win any prizes at the game though. So that was a lot of fun. And then Friday night, they had their guest speaker, who was Alexis Winslow, and she had talked about this was her first kind of speaking engagement. So she had prepared a whole thing, and she warmed up as she went through, which was really nice. But she did a whole talk. It was really a good talk. It wasn't just her background. It was about how the internet and social media have shaped our knitting community, and I thought it was really, really engaging. So I hope she does take that talk on the road a little bit more, and if you have the opportunity to listen to her, definitely give her your ears. So that was a lot of fun. Friday night, I believe they did a donut decorating contest, which I did not partake in. I was good and didn't have any donuts. And we went to a great Italian restaurant that Andy and I found last year, which is called Terza. And then on Saturday night, we, or maybe that was Thursday night we went to Terza. Friday night, I think we went to Nudes. Anyway, Saturday was the market. So I had recruited a team, again, Amber, and then our friends Matt, multi-crafty guy, and Stacy Knits. I recruited them to kind of be booth helpers, and they were amazing. I think we set up the booth in about 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is record time, especially for that venue. And I actually had 40 minutes to sit and knit before the market opened. Like, we went and got coffee. I had got pannekuchen muffins for all of us the night before. And the market was wonderful, as it always is. That's why we always say we're going to take a break from the ZK market, but you have to go back every week, or every year. Every week would be a little crazy. We go back every year because it's a wonderful event, and the people there are just amazing. So I did go a little off the chains with the stash enhancement. I told Callie when I saw her on Tuesday that there shall not be any judgy eyes directed my way. You guys can judge me all you want. I can't see your eyes through the camera or the interwebs, but y'all like to see pretty yarn, right? So anyway, so after the market we tore down. Amber recruited even more help. I had 9 pairs of hands helping me at one point, and we tore down the booth and got it all packed up in 52 minutes. So that was, and most of that was waiting for a elevator to take down the grid walls that did not have part of a wedding party in it. Oh. So it's just every elevator, because we're on the 2nd floor and you just have to take it down a floor, but every elevator had people on it going to this wedding, and I couldn't fit in unless the elevator was empty. So anyway, so then Saturday night we went to a late dinner. We went back to the Mexican restaurant, and it was good times had by all. Afterwards I was exhausted, but I stayed up for a little bit hanging out with people. And then Sunday we got up. Amber and I went to Pannekuchen for breakfast, and then we hit the road. and got home. It was an uneventful drive. Unfortunately, a bird hit the top of our van, and then another bird just fell out of the sky. Literally, like a whirly bird out of a tree. We don't know if it like hit the car in front of us or what, but it literally just, okay. But, yeah. Stories to be told. So that was my ZK trip. And then this week, it's been a lot of getting life back into the swing of things. Finding my routine, which has been so needed. I've been on the road for almost 3 weeks. So just finding that center, that place of routine in your life has been so good. So just doing things like having salads for lunch, which I've come to really enjoy. I know me. If you know me, I went for years saying I was allergic to produce, and then I was trying a dieting thing for a little while, and while I'm not sticking with it because it was rather pricey, it's probably one you see a lot of commercials for, I did learn some things that I'm trying to hold over, and so, you know, I've just been... Callie came over and I was finishing my salad and having my cheese stick and a protein bar. Like, I actually enjoy that. So, just getting back into what's normal for me has been really good. So, yeah. And then we went to knit night on Tuesday, which was good. And, yeah, that's been about it. We went out to Allerton Park, which is in our backyard. It's only about 30 minutes away. And Callie's like, oh, yeah, I've been there. It's really cool. Da-da-da-da-da. We have been talking about it for years, just going out there. And I had a couple major finished objects, which I showed you last episode. I'm going to show you again because they're blocked. And I wanted to take some really nice photos of those objects. So we went out there, and my sister, graciously enough, volunteered to model again. So she got all gussied up after work, and we went out there, and it was outrageously hot but beautiful. And we're so excited to see so much more that we didn't get to see. It's a 153-acre park, and just absolutely beautiful. So I did do an Instagram stories with several videos and photos yesterday, but those might be gone by the time you see this. So anyway, how has your 2 weeks been? I'm just rambling, but
so my 2 weeks have been busy with a lot of things that I can't talk about. Steve,
but good things.
Yeah.
Very, very good things.
Yeah, Steve knows. A handful of people know, but I'm trying to keep mum about it until things are a little bit further out. But it would be good. It's all good things. So I went to St. Louis last weekend to see friends of mine, and we hung out. It was hot. Originally I was going to go to Pig and Swig in St. Louis, and that was a bourbon, barbecue, and bacon festival, and it was at the Cardinals, like, ballpark, like not like on the actual field or anything like that, but there's like a fan portion before you get into the gates and that kind of thing, and that's where it was going to be. And it's free. They had a lot of big name barbecue places there. Thank you. And
in case you want to know what row she's on, it's 75.
Yep. So we didn't end up going to that, but we went to this amazing Brazilian restaurant, like, out of the park. I wouldn't Instagram it if I didn't like it. And
I saw your Instagram, and I was like, what? And I was like, I'd never go there. And then you posted a picture of the menu, and I was like, I'd totally eat there.
Yeah. Like, first I was kind of like, I don't know. But there's the chicken rosé. Oh my gosh. Like, there's no words. That was amazing. I liked my dish, by all means, but if I could have had theirs, I would have done that. To be honest. So from there we went to the Galleria, which, fun fact, there was a shooting a few hours before. We didn't go on that side of the mall, but yeah. So my friend Jacob did not want to go, and his wife Katie and I were like, it's fine, it'll be fine. And so we went, much to Jacob's chagrin, and we went in and shopped for a little bit, because their mall, in case if you're planning a visit, their mall closes at 9, which I think is ludicrous.
Most do.
But still, it's a big city. And so, but anyways, Katie and I both are plus size in fashion, and so we were in Macy's, and Macy's and the Galleria in St. Louis has like their second floor. It's all like plus size fashion, and that's amazing. First of all, because like big name designers, it's not just like a small rack, and they had a whole couture ball gown section that Katie and I might have indulged in trying like overpriced dresses on. They're not like super overpriced, but like for my budget, it was like 5 times more than I had in my pocket at the time. So, but that was kind of fun and fancy.
So like $25?
Shut up.
That's me. I mean, if you don't count the credit cards.
Yeah.
Maybe $5. Usually I have nothing on my person, so.
No, I tried on over a $500 gown, which does not, like in the grand scheme of things, was not the higher end of the couture gowns, but I was like, if I break this, like, you know that moment when you might get stuck in a dress because it's hot or it's too tight or something? We've all been there. Let's not go into further details, but I was like, I could, like, manage to pay this one if need be, but let's not get crazy. I don't know. It was neat. It was fun. Then we went to Lush. And if you ever get a chance to go to Lush, Lush is a vegan-friendly cosmetic company. And they do a lot of, like, face washes and lotions and things like that. And they're so friendly in there. Like, you just leave on, like, a good feeling. Like, everybody's so helpful. They just want to see you happy. They want to see you enjoy their products, and it's just like, it's good vibes all around. So highly recommend, if you get a chance to go into one, go do it. But then Sunday left from their place, and kind of just messed around in between St. Louis and where I went to college at, because my nephew, his first birthday party was on last Sunday, and there was a lot of people, and it was really hot, and it was outside, and I was like, I'm not about this life. I love you, but nope. And so I stopped. I gave him his birthday present, which I got him baby high top Chucks, so they were sweet. And his dad has a matching pair, which I knew that, so I made them matchy, and I was super excited because Eric teared up a little bit. Eric's the dad, and I was pretty excited. But from there, then my mom and I met in Springfield because she was coming back from Lake of the Ozarks, and we had dinner. It wasn't great. I'm just gonna put it out there. And drove home, and I was super tired when I came into work on Monday. So, but I worked a short day on Monday because I had to work last night for our 4-H night with the Normal Corn Belters. The Normal Corn Belters is a local team to us, and I think they won last night, but I'm not totally for sure because I left before the end of the game. So
this was hot.
It was hot. I was outside. I was sweating more than I would care to admit, but being able to take pictures on the field was really cool. And what was like, I was telling my mom this morning, I said, you know what was like so awkward? I said, I clearly don't look like I should be near the dugout. I clearly look like I should not be on this field. Like, I don't want to play sports, not this sport. And so I was standing there waiting to take the photos and stuff, and I'm, talking to one of the like coordinators of like this whole first pitch and everything, and I was like standing there, and I could see out of the corner of my eye a guy no further from me to you is standing next to me, looks at my name tag because it's an official event, I'm wearing it, and he looks at me and then looks me up and down, and then the next like 2 guys standing next to him were doing the same, and I was like, we all know I clearly don't belong here. Let's not make it awkward because I don't want to fight you right now on work time. So it is what it is. Kid nailed the first pitch. Like, it went over, and it was good. It was really good. I was really impressed because you know how like first pitches can sometimes go. not great if Celeb's doing it. Sometimes kid really nailed it. I was really impressed.
Cool.
So, yeah. My 2 weeks.
Well, you ready for some knitting? Okay. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to insert photos here. I did not keep out the crevasse by Plucky Knitter Designs. It's actually in my bag of finished objects in this closet behind me. But I do want to insert some really nice photos that we took at Allerton Park last night. So I'm going to put those in here. And so yeah, I was really happy. I think Andy's mom's going to love it for Christmas. Applause to my sister to wearing a 100% cashmere wrap in 98 degrees. She pulled it off though. And there was some beautiful shots in there. We were in a food dog garden at Allerton Park, and they have like a whole outlook area, and it was right when you walked in. So it was really, really, really neat. So that's fully blocked and done. And then what else? I blocked my Suburban wrap, and so it looks much better than it did. And so here it is. And again, this is out of the Leading Men Fiber Arts Monologue in Fortune Teller, Glow Stick, and Sea Turtle. And I even put some of these up on, I put a picture of this up on the main page of our shop to have more than just yarn. I wanted to show some finished objects, and now that I have some decent photos. So I'm going to throw some photos of that in here. So again, this design is by Joji Locatelli, and I'm excited we will start carrying the pattern in our booth and eventually be kitting this up, 3 colors, to have at festivals and shows that we're at. So loved everything about it. Lots of different techniques to keep you interested in knitting that. Then last but not least, this looked like a hot mess and it just blocked out beautifully. I knit the Architecture by Jennifer Weissman, and I used Black Cat Fibers Nomad Sock in the Demeter gradient, and I got 9 of the 10 colors. I didn't get black, so here's where I actually finished, and colors are coming out nice here. And I think we took pictures of this down by the mansion at Allerton and his pond, and as the sun was setting, and so I think we got some really good, no you're fine, some really good pictures of that, so I'm going to insert pictures of the Architecture here. So, as you can see, I had some fun with photography, but by the time I got the last shots of this, like, sweat was pouring down my face, and I was like, let's go. And so we walked out, and then, of course, we found, like, 3 other things we had to look at and go at, and then we drove more down the road, because we didn't go very far in, because I saw parking. Anyway, we were confused where to go, and there was, like, nobody at the park. Eventually, we saw a few other people, because it was so warm. But we drove more down the road and actually went all the way down. They have a big roundabout with the Sunseeker statue, which is huge, and my sister took some really cool pictures there. But eventually, I was just like, I could come here and take all my FO shots for the rest of my life and be happy. Like, and it's open year-round, so I'm even like, oh, I could go out there in the wintertime if she's willing to deal with the cold and go take some really cool
frosty shots.
Yeah, like sweaters in the fall. And so Andy was actually really excited about this, and I'll put this out there, and you guys can leave comments or email or tell me if you would be interested. But we tossed around an idea of actually organizing and hosting a knitting retreat to be held at Allerton. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so you would kind of go there, but it is a retreat center, so I haven't looked into much, but I know like they should be able to, be able to do your food and things like that. So, but it wouldn't be the cheapest retreat, but it would not be the most expensive by any means. And we were thinking probably 3 nights, 4-day retreat. But it would be a beautiful place, and like even where we had parked by, they had a big fire pit, and we're like, oh, it would be beautiful, and like the fall, if we could, you know, have the fire going, and there's tons of places to go explore and go walking and hiking and, you know, and bringing all your finished objects you want to take pretty photos of. And so I don't know, what do you guys think? Would you be willing to come to Central Illinois for a knitting retreat? So something to toy around with. We always said it was going to be too much work, but then, you know, seeing this place just kind of enchanted us into wanting to do that. So, what do you think? Would you go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also know that the 4-H camp is right there too. So.
Well, yeah.
Well, I only say that they book up quite fast and actually only have like one weekend available. So it would not work.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do the 4-H. I would look at staying in the mansion. So.
Yeah. But no, it is absolutely gorgeous there. It is.
All right. So those are my finished objects. Just rehashing those from last episode, but showing you some pretty photos as well. And again, I want to thank my sister for agreeing to model. She did a really nice job, and hopefully you'll see her back on the show soon. We just got to get Callie busier, so she can't be here. Yeah. I don't know if that's all that hard to get, you know, it'd be hard pressed to make Callie any busier, but what'd you finish?
Nothing.
Okay, let's move along. What's performing? Okay, so first things first, you saw this last time, but my Cloudless, which is by Suvi Samola, and there it is. Gotta find the right project bag. I had started this and just had a little bit of it going. This is knit out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Monologue again, the single ply superwash merino, silk, and yak. And it's a 2-color striped summer tee with no sleeves really. And I just started the back, and then you pick up from the front and knit over to the v-neck, and I've joined it, and I'm working down the body. And I'm so excited about this, guys. I'm using Head in the Clouds and Raspberry Parfait on a size 3 and 4 US, 3.25 and 3.5 millimeter needles. And here it is. So the sleeves aren't finished. This is how the sleeves will be. They just, you know, they're knit and like that. But I'm knitting the second medium size, which I believe is like a 36-inch bust. But that's with positive ease in it. And you can get that size, the second medium, out of 1 skein of each color of the monologue. Any more higher than that, you would need 2 skeins of each. So, but here's the back. And I'm actually doing a jogless striping technique that they recommend in the pattern. And while it looks like a slip stitch, it's the first time I really do not have any sort of jog. Look at that. Yep. So, gotta remember this one when I need to do jogless joins. So. But there's Cloudless, again, by Suvi Samola. And then all the rest are brand new cast-ons, I believe. When I went to the... Oh, great, I got a cut in my zipper. That's why there's no zippers on your project bags. Da, 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 da. Now I'm going to freak out about this.
Would you like me to take care of it?
No, it's okay. Because if I have to break it, I'd rather it be me. So at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse, I started a test knit for Lisa Ross, who is Paper Daisy Creations. And she is one of 5 featured designers we are going to have in our booth over the Stitches Midwest weekend. And so this design is going to be her new release for Stitches Midwest. And she had just finished it and sent me photos like the day before we were leaving for Zombie Knit Apocalypse. And I said, can you get me the pattern? I want to test knit because I want to do a completely different version than yours. Hers is a wrap with lace and garter that have 2 inversed gradients. And mine is going to be with a semi-solid and a color ensemble of a gradient. And so I started it. Now, unfortunately, the lace wasn't as... it's not bad, but when you're trying to talk and you're around people, I was having troubles. So I did this for a little bit, and then I put it away, and I didn't work on it again until yesterday for a little bit. But I'm knitting it out of Leading Fiber Art Soliloquy in the Haunted Wood, and then I'm using a color set. The first one is taken out of this. This is one of my, what I'm calling color ensembles, which are coordinated sets. And this one's called Seascape. So let's put these together. And here's where I'm at. This is knit on a size 5 US, which is a 3.75 millimeter needle. And it is a stole knit on the bias with some lace and garter, like I said. So there's that. And this is called Double Dipper. So again, if you're really, really good at lace, you'll have no issues taking this. This would be really good retreat knitting or taking laces, but especially if you're in a garter stitch section, it's not bad. So I'm super excited to be working on that. I need to get my butt in gear to make sure I get that done by stitches. Didn't really think about that. I just knew I wanted to knit it, but I gotta actually have it done by stitches, which is coming up in like a month.
Yep.
So yeah, realizations. And then last but not least, when we went to knitting on Tuesday, I decided to just bring along a skein of yarn to cast on some socks for Andy's dad for Christmas. And I've popped this sock yarn in bags before and just haven't started it, but they are now started. These are the Pop the Cork socks. They are out of Opal in color number 9286. I'm not going to try to use the original German name, but it stands for Pop the Cork. And these are knit on a size 1, 2.25 millimeter needle. And here we are. So I will not intend to match these. I did 15 rounds of a 2x2 cuff, and then I'll do about 80 rounds down the leg in total with the cuff. I will probably do a slip stitch heel flap, and then do about, he's got a little bit smaller foot than Andy and I, so I'll probably do 80 rounds down the foot like I used to do for myself. I now do 90, and then I'll do a rounded toe. And I will not try to match these. So there's that. And yeah. So, and I did not bring my granny square blanket up because I've only attached one square, so I figured I would wait till I have another row done to show you. So, what are you working on?
I'm working on my watermelon tourmaline socks on size 0 US, and I'm on the second one, and I'm actually almost to the toe, so I'm trying to finish this needle, but yeah, it's going well. I had hoped to get these done earlier this week, but it didn't happen, and that's okay because I enjoy sleep, and it's been really hot, and yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, it's going well. Let me finish. Oh, the yarn is by Vesper, and Steve got it for me.
It's the Vesper yarn. It's by Knitterly Things.
Yep.
Who I just, because I tell you, we do so many events, I don't completely like hone in on every event we do and what vendors are going to be there, but I just looked at the Super Summer Knit Together vendor list, because we're going to be vending there in 3 weeks, and Knitterly Things is vending there, so nice. maybe, but I have a lot of hers. I've seen her once or twice now. She's been doing a little more vending in person, so.
Very good.
Yeah.
So yep, that's all I'm working on, actively.
Cool. Let's talk about rehearsal. I'm still knitting swatches on the side. I don't really show those to you. But I also am planning on casting on, I think I'm going to cast on some sock blink socks. It's been a while since I've had a sock blink, working on a sock blink while I am like in the booth showing what a sock blink can do. So I'm thinking of using a mini and grabbing a sock blink and working on those while I have some trunk shows going on in the next 2 weeks. I also am looking over there and I'm like, what's that yarn I stuffed in my bookcase? Oh, those are my leftovers from the crevasse, the Plucky Knitter cashmere. And I do want to do a ribbed Watchman cap for myself and Andy because, you know, we swap hats. We're kind of like the same person now. Like, true story, everybody thinks we're brothers, and iPhone's face recognition thinks we're each other because we can open each other's phones. But we're almost the same size now. He's much taller than I am. But almost the same size in a lot of things other than pants by a very small margin. Like, shoes are the same, so we're just the same person. It is what it is. But that's what I'm going to be working on here over the next couple of weeks.
I don't know if I will be asked, but I will offer it. My cousin just got engaged today. This is my cousin. We're 13 months apart in age, and the guy that she got engaged to is really awesome. Love him. And so I don't know. I know we have had conversations that she doesn't want a big wedding. She has a lot of step family, and so I'm not for sure, but I will offer, if she wants, for me to make her veil in some kind of, whether it's, you know, an even star, or if she wants a shawl. She just got engaged today, so I don't know what they're thinking.
Let it settle in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she can make some
decisions. If she does choose for that, then I will make that for her, because, yeah, I love her a lot, you know, because we're so close in age. We're like, so, she's the closest thing family-wise that I have to a sister, so, but...
Well, that's very sweet of you.
Yeah, but I don't know if they will do a big wedding or not. And like I said, I don't even know if she'll have a dress, to be honest, just because they had talked about eloping. So I don't know if they're going to do that, but I'm so happy for her. She's over the moon, and he's a great guy and treats her well, because if he didn't, I would have told her that a long time ago. So that's where we're at.
Well, let's move into behind the scenes. What's going on in my spinning world? I did finish some spinning. This is some Highland Handmaids Superwash Merino, regular Merino, and silk in the Lakeshore colorway, and I got about 320 yards of a 2-ply, and it's about a sport weight based on the yardage. So super happy with that. I already have it tagged and updated to the shop, so this is available in the Leading Men Fiber Arts shop currently. I just can't seem to stay on top of the handspun, which is a good problem to have, but yeah. So I've started my next handspun, which, you know, I love my random number generator, and so it picked for me a braid of Three Waters Farm Rambouillet in the Summer's End colorway, and I'm working on the first 2 ounces. Again, I'm doing a 2-ply fractal spin, but here's the other 2 ounces.
Ooh.
Pretty, pretty. I know, I love their colors,
Yeah.
but they definitely have a color palette, and when you do a club, you start to really, you know, accrue a lot of fiber from them, and so I put it on hold, and I was sad to have to, you know, do that, but so there's that. And so that's my spinning. So we're going to move into In the Scene shop, which is all of our other crafts, because I have more than just cross stitch. But let's start with the cross stitch. I am working on a dimensions kit called In the Moment, and it says Live Life in the Moment, as you know. And I worked on it a little bit. I did not finish the thread. So I'm working on the word life, and I'm cross stitching this on a 28 count even weave that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and it came with a 14 count Ada, but I did not care for the feel of it. I did not try to wash it beforehand. I have now also taught my sister to cross stitch. She bought her very first kit. We went and did some errands and went to a bunch of places on Friday with Andy, and she got one that said something about I'd watch what I say, but it hurts to bite my tongue, or something like that. Something snarky. And she was falling in love with it. She's like, I like doing this. So, and it was a really great kit. It's like the one that I have on my wall over there, but I showed that off before. And it's not hard at all. And so I had picked up that cow. Do you remember that cow I got? And I picked it up for her, and I was like, no, that's your next project. She's like, it's too big. And I was like, you could do it. It's one stitch at a time. So, we've been doing all the crafting. She also is shown interest in learning to spin, and I've got my wheel, my kiwi, Ashford kiwi in the closet behind me, so I was like, well, you could, you know, have that, and I told her, I said, you're welcome up here whenever you want to, you know, craft, or, you know, it's just my happy place. But my sister and I also learned a new craft for both of us this week. I was generously gifted by a very good friend a Cricut weaving loom, a 15-inch Cricut, and it had a project on it which I kind of finished. I started watching tutorials about in the middle to learn how to actually weave, and I finished it, and I took it off the loom and just put it on a little lamp table at the end of our hallway up here. But then my sister and I watched from beginning to end tutorial, an 8-part tutorial on YouTube from the Crochet Crowd. Mikey is the host of that, or a host of these videos. They're back from 2012, but he does a really good job of walking you through from the loom itself to yarn selection, and then from warping to finishing. And so we warped with some of our half skeins of worsted, because I only have a reed that fits worsted to DK weight yarn. And we used some of my half skeins of Leading Men Fiber Arts to warp, and I think we made a very long warp. So it's gonna, this piece of fabric is gonna be very narrow. It's wider than we thought. We thought it was gonna be about 2 inches wide. It's almost 4. And so we were just like, oh, we're gonna make scarves on this Cricut. And so we warped with, again, both box office in the Copper Cloud colorway, and we are weaving. The weft is industrial. And so I actually brought the loom up here to show you. And I try to work on this for anywhere from a half hour to an hour a day. And you can't see much here, but you can see the fabric down there that I'm getting. And so the first little bit, my sister was doing most of the weaving, and when I said beat the yarn, because that's what you do, is you take the reed here and you stand it up and you weave through, and then you beat the yarn down. She was really beating it, and so it was really, really, really dense, and you couldn't see any of the copper, but then we realized you don't actually have to beat it within an inch of its life. You just kind of press it down, and it makes a really nice fabric. So again, working on how your edges look, but I can say I'm a weaver now. I did an Instagram story and hashtagged it I'm a weaver now, and did a little video, and so there's still quite a bit of warping underneath here and whatnot, but our plan is to eventually do weaving between the two of us, and just do some plain scarves, and do some patterning. Like I looked at houndstooth, and it seems pretty easy to manipulate 2 colors. But I would like to offer some hand-woven items in our booth and online store. So, working right now with the Cricut, I'm also very interested in learning how to do continuous weaving with a triangular loom, or it's not just triangles, but getting a triangular loom to do kind of full shawls. The lady that we're looking to purchase from, her mother is the one who kind of forefronted that weaving technique and has videos and books out. And Bex, who is the owner of Hill Country Weavers, it's her mom, she's teaching at the Michigan Fiber Festival a 2-day weaving class for a very reasonable price in August. And Andy is actually thinking about taking it with me. We haven't signed up for it yet, only because with his dad, we don't know, if he's going to be able to come, or if Mandy's going to have to help me bend, which I guess Mandy could take the class with me. But yeah, so I hope to show you some finished weaving. We'll see how long that is. I said even if it's outrageously long, what I might do is hang it from like the ceiling and put pins, because ever since ZKO, it's over there, I bought that one enamel pin, and then at ZK I came home with like 7 more. I didn't buy them, I was gifted, so they're on my bag, my messenger bag that I take places, but I thought, oh, I could do it as a wall hanging and put my pins on it. So that may be what this fabric turns into. Are you weaving? You took a weaving class back in the day, and I forgot that, and you had mentioned it. But you said it wasn't quite your thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I would have liked it. I was not fond of the instructor, and that
can make a big difference
in
how you approach things. The other thing that really helped was my sister and I approached this together with warping it, because that does take time. Yep. It can take anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes depending on your project and how intricate you're doing with changing colors to prepare the loom before you can even start weaving. So that helped that we were kind of figuring it out together, and I didn't have to do everything on my own to manipulate it. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's move into the spotlight. What are we watching and reading? I have not finished reading anything. I just haven't been in the audiobook mode, and it's also because I'm listening to a book that's not my typical genre of reading, so I find myself getting distracted, and then I stop it, and then it's a couple days before I'm in the mood to start listening to it again. But we did a little bit of watching of Grace and Frankie the other night, and then I forgot to also mention Teachers Season 3 is on, so I'm enjoying that, and I caught up on 3 episodes in one night, and It's just, I feel like they've really upped their game this season. I feel like their quality in production is even better. Their acting's better. Their writing is phenomenal, which all 6 ladies write their own show. So it's on TV Land on Tuesday nights, I believe, at 9 o'clock Central. So definitely check that out, DVR it if you can, and see, if not, if you can get it on demand again. So it's really, really funny. Not safe for kids, but very, very funny. So that's what I'm watching and reading.
I am reading The Mothers by Brett Brixton. I think that's how you say her last name. But I really like it. It came highly recommended. It came out either at the beginning of 2018 or at the end of 2017. But it made a lot of like book lists. And I found it through a daily news email that I get called The Skim, and came highly recommended from there, and then I bought it at Target a few months ago, and I just started it, and it's really good. It's really hard to put down, so that was good to get back into a book. And things that I'm watching, just catching up on everything that was on the DVR. So I finished Scorpion, which CBS sadly canceled, and so that was really hard because I didn't like how they ended it. I would be okay if it ended on, you know, like a different note, but it didn't, and that was kind of hard. So maybe Hulu or, you know, Netflix will pick it up somewhere, but that'd be great. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm reading and watching. And oh, I will say this: I did watch CMT Crossroads. Because Luke Combs, who I just saw a few weeks ago, actually, and then Leon Bridges, who I will see in a few months, they did a Crossroads together, and that was really good. So I really enjoyed that, and that was nice because I knew both of their bodies of work. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Let's get into stash enhancement because I got a long list to get through. Because let's just say with the family situation and things, I just was a little stressed, and I let myself have free reign to get whatever I wanted at the ZK Market. I predict I will be much better at SSK, but I'm still going to get what I want at SSK. That's what happens when Andy leaves me to do shows by myself. So that's how I count him into making sure that he does things with me. He wants a vacation from me when I go to retreats, and I want to have all the yarn. So, first things first, I picked up a couple project bags from my friend Matt, who is Multi-Crafty Guy. He is Multi-Crafty Guy Makes on Etsy, and you should definitely check out his shop. He's got tons of bags in there, and he is known for mostly upcycling shirts, specifically men's shirts, and plaid and different work shirts and things like that, and he makes project bags, and sometimes he'll also upcycle jeans for the bottom and things like that. So I have one of his that I was gifted like the weekend he opened his shop, and so this is one of his originals. It's a very generous size, and I love if you he does charge a little bit more for the pockets, but I do actually keep my row counter in here, so that works out really, really well. So they're working pockets. So I picked up 2 bags from him because he brought a suitcase full of bags, and it was kind of like, you know, we'll go back to your room and see what product you have. It was kind of like that shady underground, but it was really neat to see all of his project bags. So I went the first time. Yeah, there was more than one time. And I fell in love with 2 bags. One was even bigger than this, but it was almost too big, and it was blue fabric with jeans for the bottom, and I felt like the blue melded into the jeans to where you couldn't really see, oh, those are jeans at the bottom. So I went with this one, which is that brown and blue plaid, and then you can totally tell the jean fabric at the bottom. I really love this. He's got a little shrinky dink with his logo and everything, MCG Makes, with a little stitch marker, and he just has really, 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 really good quality work that he does. He takes pride in what he does, and I don't know, there's just something to say for really good quality work. And Matt's a really good guy. He was one of the guys I really, really just we got along really well at the retreat, and we were hanging out quite a bit. And his friend Renee is awesome as well. So they're two really good friends. And then on the second return back to his room, because we went like after lunch, a group of us, and I was like, well, I can't walk away without this one. So I got a small sock bag. And I just really liked the colors. Can you see? There's like yellow, green, peach in there in the plaid. So got this one. I was like, this is a small purchase.
If anyone knows Steve, these are also very similar plaid shirts that you may or may not have owned throughout the years.
I wear pretty much exclusively plaid, especially in the summer. But all year round, I wear a lot of plaid. If you saw me at ZK, I wore plaid every day because that's just what I own. I know what I like, and is what it is. So
I'm not
it speaks to my heart, but I really love the, especially, not just gender neutral, but even more masculine side to these bags. I feel like there is definitely a market for them. And I'm trying to talk Matt into letting us sell some of his bags, but that's in the beginning stages, so don't get your hopes up yet. But you can definitely check out his Etsy store, Multi-Crafty Guide Makes on Etsy. And you could probably just Google search that. It'll probably be easier than the Etsy search engine. Okay, let's go into the big old bag of goodies over here. So, before the market opened, vendors can shop each other's booths, and there were two dyers I really wanted to check out their wares, and that was Camel City Dye Works and Queen City Yarns. So Camel City Dye Works is out of Salem, wherever they make Camel cigarettes, hence Camel City Dye Works. And Queen City Yarns is out of Charlotte, North Carolina? South Carolina? North Carolina. I don't know. Anyway, I picked up kits from both of them, and I ran through really quick. And so, Camel City Dye Works, I picked up a trio kit, and this had no particular pattern in it. This is out of her Salem High Twist 2-ply base. This is the 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon, but it's a high twist, 463 yards. I had not seen this base before, so this was cool to see. And this was just a tri-color set in Dusty Road, Pixie Graffiti, and Goldie. And I was like, oh, but you don't have a pattern in mind, and I want to know what to make with it. But I picked it up anyway, and then at the next booth, I found the pattern I was going to make with this. So I grabbed this, pretty, right? And then I went over to Queen City Yarns, and she had a lot of 5 and 3 color sets. And she was talking to me and was like, oh, you can make this or you can make that. And then I saw she actually had a kit for her design, which is a summer summer tee with a little, it's just a basic tee with a contrasting little afterthought pocket on the chest, and then contrasting color at the cuff and at the bottom rib. And so I picked up one of her kits for that, and this is Queen City Noda Sock, which again is a 75 Superwash Merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. It comes with 3 skeins of It's Fall Y'all with a contrasting 20-gram mini skein. It's a total of 1,489 or 81 yards, and it is for the Perfect Summer Tee, which is by the dyer behind Queen City Yarns. And so I was like, hey, I might make this for a friend of ours' daughter. I didn't know who I'd make it for, but I think I might make it for a friend of ours' daughter if she'll wear this color. I know green is her favorite color, but maybe she'll wear this color because I think it'd look really nice with her hair. And I just saw there was a little crown stitch marker on one of the skeins, and it was really nice meeting. I think Janice is the dyer behind Queen City Yarns. So I picked out this kit for the tee, and then she had a sample of Joji Locatelli's Washed Out shawl, which is a 3-color shawl.
Is that her newest one?
Hello! I don't know if it's her newest, but it's relatively new, within the last month or two. So I'm going to knit Washed Out of these 3 colors. I was very much in like a gold-orange mode, I don't know. I have a color when I go shopping at these things. You'll see that. So then I got my goodie bag yarn. I didn't show all my goodie bag stuff because I kind of parceled out what I wanted. And since my sister's a new knitter, she got to partake in a lot of the things that were not exactly my taste or I didn't need for. So I did get skein. They had 3 different dyers for the goodie bag yarn. They had Stunning String Studio, 3 Irish Girls, and Suburban Stitcher. Stunning String had this one, which is their dynamic base, which is 100% superwash merino, 230 yards of a DK weight in the color Really Raspberry. And then 3 Irish Girls had a teal, and Suburban Stitcher had a gold. And they were the colors of this year's logo. While I was like, great, pink. It's outside my color palette. But then I paired it up with Corey, I Rock Knits, Friendship Road Hat, which I was gifted a copy of. Thank you so much, Corey. Which, by the way, if you check out I Rock Knits, she has a couple new designs, and she's working on some new designs out of Leading Men Fibers for stitches. But she just had knee surgery this Wednesday, and everything went well, so that's great. We're so happy, Corey. But she is, all her patterns are on sale for $3 right now with the coupon New Knee, I believe is the coupon, so check her out. She premiered a new wrap scarf thing, shrug type thing that you can put your arms through. It's beautiful. It's 3 skeins of fingering weight, and you use all 3 skeins, but it's like you knit a skein, there's an armhole, there's a back skein, there's an armhole, and there's another skein of just, you know, rectangles, and you can wear it as a scarf, as a wrap, you can put your arms through it. It's really, really cool. I think it's called the Phases shawl, so. But anyway, I got some. This was my goodie bag yarn by Stunning String Studio. And then I participated in the yarn lottery, which basically what happens is everyone shows up with a minimum of $20 of yarn, a $20 skein of yarn, and you they put them all on a table, and then you grab a number, and they go through the numbers from 1 to whatever, and so number 1 gets picked, they get to go through, and they then get to pick a new skein of yarn and get their first pick. So again, this year I had a lower number, not 1. I was in the, I think I was 29 or something. But I picked up this skein of October House Fiber Arts. I believe she is based out of Texas. I know she does DFW Fiber Fest, and I've heard Diane Suburban Stitcher talk about her. She's known for her subtle colors and speckling. This is in her Sojourn sock, which again is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is in the colorway A Day at the Lake. So it's a beautiful cream with the soft blues and tans. And just the softest little golden yellows too. I mean, so subtle. So I'm not sure what I'm going to make with this. Or maybe I did pair it with something online. I can't remember. I did go through and find patterns for everything that I was not planning on making socks. But this was what I walked away with from the yarn lottery. And then I was convinced by my booth helpers to go down to the 716 Knit Buffalo truck,
which is really cool.
It is cool. Yeah, if you ever get a chance on any of these yarn trucks, I mean, they really pimp out these yarn trucks. There's one called Yarn Birds, which is based out of Ohio. Hers is absolutely gorgeous on the inside and just so well curated. Jenna's was very lovely, and she had a lot of dyers that I never heard of, including her own line, 716 Knit. And so Matt and I went down there while the girls watched the booth. It only took me 5 years to get down there. I'd never been down to her yarn truck. And so I picked up a couple of things. The first thing I picked up is a skein of 716 Knit, 716 Sock Hardcore, which is her self-striping, which is super reasonably priced, especially for self-striping. This is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, in the color Outlawing of Human Triangles. She picks a lot of colorway names based off of Buffy, but other random geeky type things. So I went with this navy blue with pops of like highlighter yellow and orange in the striping. So again, orange, I called my name, so I walked away with it. And then I turned around and there was some spun right round behind me, which I did get to see a lot of that at the Loopy U. But again, you can only spend so much money at different places. And this skein just kind of jumped out at me, and it was not a fingering weight skein. And this is spun right round, in their Squish DK, which is 100% superwash merino, 250 yards, in the colorway Bug Jar. And I found a hat that was designed out of this base in this colorway that I'm going to knit out of. So it's got that soft gray undertone with pops of chartreuse and like a saffron orange. So there's that. Kelly's just like, I'll hold it in. I'll hold in those two jewelers. And then one last thing that I got. This just screamed at me from a bottom shelf, and I'd not heard of them before. Sunrise Fiber Company. This is their indelible sock, which again, notice this is a very popular base. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards, in the colorway Favorite Flannel. But this speckling is so on point. Like, if you want to talk speckling, can you even pick up on the subtleness of this speckling going on here? It's crazy. So, yeah, threw that on the shelf, on the counter when I checked out. Alright, then, at the market, I had heard of this dyer last year, but I think they went to their farm at the ZK market, like it was an excursion. But she was a vendor this year, and she dyes with natural dyes, and I told her to put me some stuff together. Well, she came with 3 different 3-color sets, and I had just bought a 3-color set. So I went back to her booth, and I picked something completely different. I was like, pick something for me. And then I was like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to go with something a little more neutral. And I got 2 skeins of her single... what does she call them? Her soft singles, which is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards in a skein, in the Storm Clouds colorway, and it is dyed with logwood. And so I got 2 skeins so I could do some bigger project out of it. And there's just a lot of depth to this color. It's like a brown gray, and I just thought it'd be a really nice neutral. And I can't remember what I paired with this. I think a lace scarf I put on Ravelry with this. So, and that's from Berry Fun Yarns. Don't worry, I'm not done. Then, Jeanette, who's Jeanette93, on Thursday morning I sat down to have breakfast, which they have a new coffee shop at the ZK. It used to be Starbucks right down the hallway. Now it's Steam, which is a like coffee house in Rochester. But their coffee was delicious, but I had a chocolate croissant, and that was on point. But Jeanette came up to me and she said, hey, my local yarn shop and I paired up together to give you a gift. And her local yarn shop, Jeanette was so wonderful. She's kind of like a big promoter of Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I get to see her every year. And her husband are always at ZK and usually at SSK. And she's the one who talked about me to her local yarn shop, which is Woolly Mammoth in Omaha, Nebraska. And we are carried there, and they get our new yarns every month, our new colorway every month. And so she gave me a Woolly Mammoth drawstring backpack, which, thank you very much, it was super cute with their logo. And then she gifted me a skein of a local, I believe a local dyer, but it is in a colorway specifically dyed for Woolly Mammoth, called the Woolly Mammoth. And so they gifted me a skein. Again, it is, it's Cornbread and Honey is the company name. And they're on Etsy as Cornbread and Honey. And they have a Facebook group as well. But it's their 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards in the colorway the Woolly Mammoth. So it's browns and an alpine blue and like some soft tans. So there's that. So thank you, Jeanette, so very much, and Diana from the Woolly Mammoth for pairing up and sending me a gift. It was very, very thoughtful of the two of you. So. Then I went over to the Suburban Stitcher, Diane, because she walked through my booth and I could see her perusing, and then I turned around and she was on the aisle behind me, and I shouted through the vendor right behind me. I said, Diane! She looked at me, she's like, what? I was like, I saw you looking. She was like, yeah. I said, you want anything? She's like, maybe. I said, let's trade. So she got a skein of our Showstopper and mini skein, so I did the same thing. Same base, we just swapped. And these are both newer colors for her, and I'm going to knit some socks for myself. This, again, is her Suburban Stitcher sock, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. And this is in the colorway Oyster that her son named. It is the softest cream. She is known for like those. She has an aesthetic that is just to die for. Like, Andy and I do a little bit of everything, and we try to appeal to them, you know, a range of knitters. And some people do an aesthetic really well, and Diane does a really good aesthetic. I had the pleasure of having dinner with Diane twice. I got to sit next to her. We got to chit chat and talk about shows she wants to do next year, and I can't wait to see her take the yarn world by storm even more than she is now. So. And if you're not checking her out, she has the Suburban Stitcher podcast. But these have some really soft speckling of like a twilight gray and a really dark like moss green and gold, but just so soft. And then I paired it with a new semi-solid for her. This is a mini skein in the colorway Ashes. So those are going to be some socks for me. Yeah, I'm claiming these ones. All right, don't worry, I'm almost there. Then I won a goodie prize, or I won a door prize on Saturday night at the closing ceremonies. It was generously donated by 716 Knit, Jenna, and I got a beautiful like nylon bag with a set of stitch markers that I gave to my sister for her to use as a project bag, and the stitch markers were pink and purple, which matched the yarn. I could have given my sister the yarn, but I didn't. But I gave her the stitch markers to use, and she's like, they're so cute, and there was a little buffalo on them. Anyway, I got 2 skeins of yarn in there as well, and these are on 716 Solo, which is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards, in the colorway Spontaneous Cheerleading Combustion, which is that cream with hot pink and neon yellow and just that pop of purple, and then the same base in Pre-Posy. And so these were obviously meant to go together. And it's the same base as the Berry Fun yarns, but I felt like the hues were just a little too different to put all of it together into a ginormous something or another. So I found something. I don't remember what now, but I've paired it with something on Ravelry, a project that I had on my queue to make this. So those will be going together. And then my last acquisition was a gift from Jay. He is one of the coordinators of the Men's Knitting Retreat for the Midwest, the Great Lakes Men's Knitting Retreat. And Leading Men Fiber Arts is doing a custom colorway for them for their retreat this fall. And so he's the one coordinating all the orders for that, and he lives in Minnesota, and we've seen him now twice. Or this was the 3rd time in 3 months. And he does project bags as well under Papa Bear bags on Etsy, and he wanted to gift me a bag, and he said, do you want hunky firefighters, hunky campers, or hunky Hawaiian men? And I said, I'll take Hawaiian men. And so he came up and he gifted me a bag. I was not expecting the size of this bag. He calls these his Manpanian bags, and it's that big. It's quite big. Quite sizable. If you care about size, if that's your thing. So this has a handle strap over here with another strap for the closure, which is nice that you don't have to choose which one. You know, a lot of times you can take this off and put it on the zipper. I like that you have both. And then it's such a large print, you get, you know, not a whole lot of guys there, but you get some eye candy on the back there. And then it's got the pink zipper, because, I mean, come on, if you're going to make that big of a statement, and then it's got a lot of pink lining in there. So, yeah, that is Papa Bear Bags, based out of Minneapolis. There is his logo. Again, he's on Etsy, and you can search for him and take a look at his bags. So, thank you again, Jay, for your generous gift. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, and somebody else gifted me. I got quite a few other little gifts of stuff. We got some progress keepers over there. Don't let me forget. Somebody gifted one for you and my sister and me. Little sheep progress keepers.
Well, thank you.
So,
to whoever you are.
You know, people stop by and they give you little gifts and pins and things, and everyone's just so sweet. That's the fun things about knitting retreats, especially when it's just a really good one. So, yeah, that's it. Oh no, just kidding. I got one more. Andy has now done this twice. I think last time I talked about how I was having a rough day or just because, and he popped a skein of yarn from Yakagani Yarns on my desk, and I was having a rough day the other day because, well, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Let's just do that. We applied for India Entangled, and we didn't get in. So it's a juried event, but I really was hoping to get in, and so here's to hoping I can actually go to Rhinebeck without any work engagements, though. I have to find the right group of people, so I'm trying right now. I don't have anybody planned. I'm trying to find the right group to go to Rhinebeck, and well, I'm sure a lot of people would volunteer, and I would be happy with. I'm a very much an introvert, and I know a lot of you can relate. Like, you have to find the right group to travel with and be comfortable with, you know what I mean? And I really want it. It's like going to see a musical. I equated this to somebody, like, it's like going to see your musical, like when I saw Wicked, after knowing the soundtrack for so many years and knowing the original Broadway cast, you don't want to go see something and be like, well, that's not what I expected. And you don't want Rhinebeck to be like, well, that, you know, it wasn't what I was hoping for. So I'm trying, like, I know I'm trying to make it more than what it is, but, so I just need to put a call out to some friends and see who's going and how to coordinate all this. And I don't want to, like, I mean, I can put on my big boy pants and, like, travel by myself, but I have full range to go to Rhinebeck, and, you know, again, it's going to be bittersweet when we didn't get into Rhinebeck, and then also if I went to India Entangled, and, but I'll apply next year and we'll see what happens. It's a blessing in disguise because we have a lot going on those weeks before that. But I came upstairs and there was another skein of yarn on my desk, and Andy had wrote a little note and he had said, you're good enough all by yourself. Aww. And, you know, he's a sweetheart like that. I feel like I'm the more the romantic, but yet I don't have those little moments that he does. So I don't know how many skeins of yarn he's stashed away over the past couple of weeks, but he put on my desk another skein of Medusa yarn and fiber, which I picked up a skein at Kentucky Sheep and Wool. This is in her worsted weight, again, 100% superwash merino, 220 yards in the Wood Nymph colorway. And I had gotten a beautiful teal green. And what I'm thinking of doing is actually weaving these two worsted weights together, because with the Cricut loom, like I said, I only have the reed for a DK to worsted weight. If I want to go down to fingering or lace, I have to purchase a new reed, which is actually not that cheap. They run about $43 for the reed, so and they have a 12 dent reed and a 10 dent, and I have the 8 dent reed, so there's two more that I need to get my hands on. But so yeah, so that's from Medusa Yarn and Fiber, which we did a giveaway with them here in the recent past. Alright, I'm sorry I'm rambling so much, but
it's okay.
I'm carrying the show this week, and it's an hour and 15 minutes in, and we still are in stash enhancement. Alright, let's talk about this week's giveaway. So we have a book for this week's giveaway. It was generously donated. Oh, darn. Oh, wait, it saved itself, kind of. Generously donated by our fairy yarn mother. And this is the book Vogue Knitting, Mittens, and Gloves. So it's kind of their best of the best. And so we're going to give this away, and you must be a member of the Dramatic Knits group to enter. And we have a thread already up in the group. And the prompt this week is, where did you go on your last vacation? So I figure it's the summer months here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's vacation time for a lot of people. So I'd like to know, where did you go on your last vacation? Maybe you just went, you know, a half hour away and you did a staycation, or maybe you went to Rome, or I don't know, maybe you went to Playa del Carmen in Mexico. But where did you go on your last vacation? And that'll get you entered for this book. It is a hardcover book, and you know, it's Vogue, so some are traditional, some are
less
avant-garde, and yeah. So that's this week's giveaway. So we're going to move into a round of applause, and last episode we were giving away a skein of Yakagani yarns in her Highlands Festival base, which is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nep in the grape soda colorway. And if you want to hold that for me, we asked, which colorway do you like best from the Yakagani yarn shop, and what pattern would you knit with it? Random number generator picked number 28, which we had a lot of entries for this because it's beautiful, right? Number 28, LME Call, and that's Linda from Pennsylvania, which is so fitting because Yakagani Yarns is out of Pennsylvania. So it's going back home. And she said, I love the Pygmy Puff / Purple Pattern sock kit. And I love bright and pink. The bright and pink is so vibrant. I would knit plain vanilla socks to showcase the yarn. Thanks for the chance to win. And Linda does a lot of knitting because I hear her name on quite a few podcasts. She participates in a lot of knit-alongs and contests. So congratulations, Linda. If you would contact me, Dramatic Knits, via Ravelry, and give me your first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking, I'll get this on its way to you. All right, June's over. Can you believe it? It ended yesterday. I can't believe it's July.
I know.
Like we're in summer, like firmly in summer.
Yeah, Friday was our fair entry deadline, and we didn't have as many people, so now I look forward to Monday when I get to tell people I'm sorry you missed the deadline.
Well, because it's now July, we get to pull for our June 2018
Sure.
Race to the Finished Object contest. And if you'll hold that
Yes.
so we can read that. I picked from our yarn stash prize. While you might think it's commercial yarn, it's enough to make something fun. And I think you could do like a fun baby blanket or something. This is Lamb's Pride Bulky. It is 85% wool, 15% mohair. It is a single ply bulky weight. And you get 125 yards per skein. I have 2 skeins in the color, does it say what color? Oh, Lotus Pink, and 1 skein in Strawberry Smoothie. So 3 skeins of this Lamb's Pride Bulky is going to this month's winner. And the winner is
132, DG White, or Denise from Seattle, and she made her 6th pair of Brothers Christmas 2018 socks. So
it's amazing. If you're
Yeah.
knitting 12 pairs of socks for your brother for Christmas, girl,
dedication.
yeah. That is a good sister to be doing that much.
That's awesome.
So, Denise, again, contact me, Dramatic Knits, first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking. We then had a pattern from our featured designer. This month is Corrado Lark, who you can definitely check out on Ravelry. We have his pattern page linked on our show notes, which is dramaticknits.com. And the winner of that was
117, mystery sewer, or Sandy from Ontario. And she finished a pair of June socks. So
awesome. Yeah. So, Sandy, if you would take a look at Corrado's patterns and email me, Dramatic Knits, with what pattern you would like via Ravelry, I will let Corrado know and he will gift it to you. So thank you to Corrado for being our featured designer. He is with us for the next couple of months. And congratulations to Sandy. And thank you everyone for showcasing what you finished this month. As you start to finish things in July, we invite you to enter everything you finish this month into our July 2018 Race to the Finished Object contest. It does not need to be started in this month, but it must be finished in the month of July. And 1 post per picture will get you an entry in the drawing. You can enter as many finished objects as you finish, hence race to get those objects finished. We'll have a prize again from our prize pool, and Corrado Lark will generously be gifting another pattern this month. So, that being said, let's move into center stage, all things leading men fiber arts. Since it's July 1st, this morning we premiered our July colorway, which we're having so much fun, and we're doing a huge contest, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So our new colorway for July is called Bend and Snap, which if you know the movie or the musical Legally Blonde, you know the iconic move of Bend and Snap. And here's what it looks like in the skein. It is a soft kind of blonde, peachy undertone, and then it's got some amethyst shot through it with little tiny specks of like a sea spray blue speckled in it. So this is it on the DK base, and again my lighting's going, we have decent face lighting, but then it doesn't show this. And then how does it knit up? It knits up like that. So here's the actual swatch, but I'm going to insert some better photos of the colorway here. So that is the bend and snap, and I gotta give all credit to my sister and Andy especially for seconding it. I wanted to call it Delicate Beauty, and they were like, wah wah. And we're kind of known for some of our wackadoodle names, so, you know, our funny names. So, like, my sister's like, let's call it Bend and Snap, because it's actually July is the anniversary of when Legally Blonde came out in the movie theater. And there has been announcements that Reese Witherspoon is signing on to do Legally Blonde 3. So, with all that going on, we decided to also do a huge contest with this colorway. So, I did an Instagram live story this morning, and we even had Andy modeling and showing you how to enter for the contest. But I do have all of the guidelines for this on the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group, in case you want to kind of read over. We'll also be doing daily promotions reminding you how to enter. So the contest is going to run from today, July 1st, through July 8th, which is when pre-orders are up on all of our bases of yarn in the shop. And it's going to be done on Instagram. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to take a quick video, or you can do a boomerang if you have that app and know how to do a boomerang, where it kind of repeats a quick 5-second video of you bending and snapping for some yarn. It does not need to be Leading Men Fiber Arts. It just needs to be yarn. And you can have as much fun. You can recreate, you know, the movie. You can do a whole, like, whatever. You can wear a costume. I don't care what you want to do. It could just be a simple bending down to pick up and snapping up to get some yarn. But you're going to post that on Instagram, the video, and you need to hashtag it LMFA bend and snap. And I'll try to put that here at the bottom of the screen. LMFA bend and snap on Instagram. And that is how you are entered. So if you do not hashtag it, that's how I'm going to look for entries. I'm going to look at the hashtag, and you have all week. Only one entry per account is going to be eligible, so you can post as many videos as you want. You can do it every day if you want, but only one entry is going to count, and we're going to randomly select a winner to win the prize. So what's the prize? Oh, you all want to see this. If you watch the Instagram live story, you can see. But we are giving away 12 skeins of yarn, one of every one of our bases. It is retailed at over $330. And it is a smattering of colors and dye techniques. And so ranging from lace weight to worsted. And we are going to give one lucky winner a whole LMFA stash. And we are so excited. So if you want to watch the Instagram live story, you can see Andy. He bent and snapped not once but twice to show you how to do it. Yeah, we're gonna do some more promotions and things like that. So check it out on Instagram. Go over, enter, tell all your friends, shout it from the hilltops. You do need to be following Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram if we are to pull you as a winner. And yeah, you have until through the 8th to enter for that on Instagram. I think Callie's gonna enter. She's eligible, so.
I'll remember agreeing to this.
You're not gonna bend and snap for 12 skeins of yarn? I've known you to do less, or a lot more, for a lot less yarn.
It's true. I just don't want it to appear to be rigged, so.
I'm hoping to get a lot of people entering in this. All right, last but not least, let's talk about where Leading Men Fiber Arts is going to be over the next 2 weeks. We have 2 trunk shows coming up. This weekend, we will be at Woolen Company in St. Charles, Illinois. On Saturday, from their normal hours, probably 10 to 4 or 10 to 5, that usually is what shop hours are at most of these shops. It is a beautiful store. It is small, so we're going to see how we can fit in there. But it is well curated. They host all the Brooklyn Tweed lines. And somebody told me they now have a Madeline Tosh dyed to order, where you can see all their colorways and then all their bare bases, like all their bases, and the shop will put in an order for you on whatever you want, and it will ship directly to your house from Madeline Tosh within 4 weeks.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. But they have tons of shibui, a whole wall of shibui, and just some really high-end stuff. So we're excited to be going back there. I'm not going to be purchasing anything because I purchased a scarf's worth of Brooklyn Tweed Loft last time I was there that I have not even touched. It's sitting in a beautiful bag over there. But that's going to be this Saturday. Then the following Saturday, we're going to be in Winterset, Iowa at the Heartland Fiber Company, and that is July 14th. And again, that'll be their normal shop hours will be there on Saturday. Both of these trunk shows, Andy and I will be in attendance all day to chit-chat, talk, catch up, knit with, and to help you do color selection or just, talk about our yarns. So we're super excited about that. We've heard a lot of lovely things. We got to see a lot of Heartland Fiber Company's clientele at Iowa Sheep and Wool, and a lot of people saying that they were going to see us at the Winterset shop. And I believe that you may see Anne of the Silvershed USA at Winterset as well. She said she's going to swing by. So got to catch up with her at the ZK and can't wait to see her again. So, and then the weekend after that, we're going to be at the Super Summer Knit Together in Nashville. My sister and I were super excited. She wants to go to the Grand Ole Opry, she told me this week, so we're going to work that in. And we're taking a sweater class from Isabel Kramer, and we are also taking a loom weaving class, so that'll be exciting. And not like from the Cricut loom, a different type of loom. But yeah, but we'll be recording before SSK. We'll be recording the day after Heartland Fiber Company's trunk show in 2 weeks. So don't forget to go enter for the huge giveaway of Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram. Follow us if you are not doing so on Instagram and or Facebook. And follow us on Ravelry for the Dramatic Knits video podcast. And as always, you can find the show and show notes at dramaticknits.com. And we'd love if you would subscribe or leave comments on YouTube and or iTunes. So,
until next time,
we hope you
knit something
dramatic.